Hello, blessed souls. I am the magical medium, and welcome to this spiritual guidance channel. Today, before you, we have 4 readings to choose from. On this channel, if you're new here, welcome. And for those of you who keep coming back, welcome back. But what I just kind of do whatever I'm drawn to do. But you can guarantee that every month I will put out 8 readings for the moon cycles. One way or the other, I'll get it out. I try to do it on the day of the energy or within the energy frequency. As of now, today in real time, it's January 18th, 2023. Throat chakra. Also, a holler out to my stepfather. I called him dad too. He crossed back over 2 years ago today. So to my blessed, blessed Father in my heart, without him I would be nothing. We honor him today in his name today, Dennis Makoviak. Ugh, you guys would love him. He was a Sagittarius and full of so much love and life and hope and awesomeness. Anyway, thank you for being here. And thank you for allowing me to welcome in his energy, because he kind of surged in and I was like, yeah, you can't hold him back. But that's awesome, because I did open the floor to all those who wanted to come through today. So your family members, I'm a true medium, and sometimes with the moon cycle readings, we get real serious and it's more of like a studious kind of reading, where we're learning or we're, getting confirmations or whatever. But sometimes we have readings like this. Speak your truth, Spirit said. Angel number 148. Whenever I call things out, it's for you to look up and research on your own. For those of you who've been coming here a long time, I know I used to spoil you and put everything in the description box, but the only thing you're going to find in the description box these days are hashtags to put this work out into the world wherever Spirit wants me to put it, to cast the net out wide and far for those who need these messages. Seriously, speak your truth. This is going to be a theme for us, because the throat chakra has been coming in a lot, and I feel fine. As you can hear, I'm fine, and I'm drinking water in between, but oh yes, drink water. Stay hydrated. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting energy going out there with the waning crescent right now. So you're not crazy, okay? And if certain words trigger you, get to the core of it and let it go. We're going to be working with a lot of spirit medicine this year in 2023. For those of you who've been walking with me a long time, shit's about to get fucking real. Like for real. Like the next year is going to get so real. But if we stick with it, if we work with it, the rewards will be greater than anything we could possibly imagine. As you can see, there's nothing wrong with the lighting. They had me do it this way because we're in the last phase. It's the waning crescent. It's the last phase of the 8 phases of the moon cycle. So they had me bring it in real dark, right? Because we're about to go into a new moon. But we are in the waning crescent energy. And can I just tell you, I got this deck at Marshall's, I think for $7. And it was amazing. It's called the Self-Care Oracle by Violet Ball. I love her name. I love everything about this deck. I love everything. I mean, even to like this point, I'm like, she's channeling like really awesome Bewitched vibes. Like, I'm just like, I think that's Bewitched. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's some really good energy going on here. So the reason why we're using this deck is because the 8th moon phase is the rest and restore phase. We're at the end of the moon cycle. We've done everything that we can do at this point, not to mention that we just came off a Mercury retrograde. Like, we didn't have a hard enough 2022. We have to end the year with a new moon in Capricorn right at the end and a fucking Mercury going into retrograde right at the end. Yeah, talk about transition. I don't know about you guys, but I've been the darkest evil bitch I have ever, like, it's like Southside Chicago Kelly meets, like, it's as if Southside Chicago Kelly like was on like superpowers that turned villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like shit where I'm like, even I'm like afraid of her, where I'm like, I don't know what's going on there. But I realized it's because I've got to let her go. And as I hit these really, really dark, evil spots inside of myself, I sat with Spirit because shit got real. And I was like, really going to town with the angels and Spirit yesterday. I hadn't hit a rock bottom like that in quite a while. And the craziest thing was I thought I was good. I was like, I was feeling good. I'm like, it's a new year. I'm staying in a high vibration. Everything's really good. Yeah. And then I got some fucking horrible news and I like lost my noodle and like went so far off of like anything. It's like I went to the dark side. It was like dun 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 dun. Yeah, it was like Darth Vader shit. Like but worse. I was like the Emperor. No, because at least Darth Vader, like had some human left inside of him. No, I was like the Emperor, where it was like the darkest of the dark. But you know what? I'm glad, because I needed to go through that shit. I needed to work some shit out. And I also realized that boundaries, we have got to keep setting them in place. When people constantly test your boundaries, you either can stay in that spiral to keep learning and growing and evolving. That's up to you, like whatever you can handle. Each of us are individuals. But if it gets to a point where you're just like, no, thank you. Like, I don't need, like, I'm good. At least for now, I can't do that. If you're in a place where you're getting multiple triggers every single day, you cannot heal where you're hurt. And I don't care if you have to like send out, flares to all of your closest loved ones that do love you and get you. And you're like, I got to get out of my situation. Can I stay with you for a week? Can I, if that means you have to put your shit in storage and like you live out of a fucking backpack. I have watched this tribe. I've watched so many of you in this tribe do things that were beyond anything that you thought you can do, because I've worked with so many of you at this point now individually, and or you've been on this channel for a long time and and I'm so proud of you. But you know what? We got to work even harder, because it's not like we get to a certain point and it's like, oh cool, it's over. It's like, no, it's never over. I wish that were the case. I wish that were the case, but it is never over. This will be a constant lesson and learning. So how we approach it, how we respond to it is really genuinely on us 100 fucking percent. And this is something that keeps coming for me. So I said to Spirit, okay, fine. Then you need to show me what I need to do for me, so that, do you notice how it's like almost like getting lighter? I'm not touching anything. I'm not doing anything. Either that or my eyes are adjusting weird. I don't know. But either way, I'm like 7:31. I'm going to look around that. And that must be, ooh, interesting. That's a birthday of a really powerful warrior. Anyway, so that might mean something to you too. But yeah, all of these things that are coming up, these triggers, it's like, it's our decision how we want to deal with it. And if you're fucking tired and you're like, I can't do it, like I'm, ow, like I call uncle, right? Like when I was growing up, they'd like, kids were bullies and they'd like pull your arm or do something. And you're like, okay, uncle. I don't know where that came from or why, but it's like, I give up, like for now, right? Like red flag, like I need to, like, I'm out of the play. You can do that at any time. And you also don't have to stay in the energy of whatever that thing is, but you will constantly stay in that energy if it is coming at you every single day. It's really hard to fight it. And so 820, also 82, which is the number 10, and completion. Like if you've had enough, if you're at the end of this, then I feel like these messages are going to be really important for each of us. So maybe you're called to one reading, maybe you're called to all of them. Whatever feels good to you, I want you, to do what feels good to you. But it's no joke. I wanted to put crystals and things here, and they were like, no, they really want you to use your intuition. It's almost why they made it dark. Ooh, did you see that little fairy? That's why they made it dark with just the candlelight, because at this point, the only way you're going to see out of your situation is through meditation and going inward, closing your eyes and looking for the light inside. If you can't leave where you are, then you have got to find a way to set your boundaries so that you can survive until you get out of where you are. I mean, I don't know. I just heard this. So bless your heart and please come forward. But I just heard that I feel like I just saw somebody in prison, but it felt like a real prison. Or maybe maybe it feels like a metaphorical prison, but I just noticed like where like you're watching this while you're in prison. It's like, good. I hope this inspires you. Like I just showed, like they kind of showed me somebody who just like, they only have so much time on the internet, and I saw a prison. So it's almost like someone's controlling you, or maybe you need to control yourself or control how much, like maybe you need to do a lockdown on yourself and your energy, get off the internet, all that. I'm about to set some serious fucking boundaries myself. And just for those of you who know, I am going to be changing my phone number again no worries. And it's because no one's going to have it. It's what I've wanted since day one, which is that if we are going to work together over the phone, I can call someone and it comes up unlisted. But what happens is that there's always at least one person and sometimes multiple people who will really abuse our friendship. And it's like, oh, it's like they kind of are like, oh, we're friends, right? Like we're friends. But yet it's like it was always like one-sided friendship. And maybe I'm saying this for you, maybe this is going to resonate with you. If your friends are using you as a human Zoltar machine, it is not their fucking right to do that. I am a telepathic, clairsentient, like I can go on and on. I have all the clear, I have them all. And I love everyone and I want to help people, but I help people better when I'm like this from far away. Or like I come online and maybe you put comments or something. Like before I used to set my boundaries. I used to only go on once a week, to like do the comments and all that. And over since we've been back in an RV, while we're waiting for a house. Ooh, when I looked down, it was 11:11. Thank you, angels. I started to realize like what was happening. And I was like, yeah, because I'm bored, because there's not much for me to do, like the things that I want to do are a little bit more difficult. But then I started to realize, I'm like, am I just giving myself excuses? And all of these things started coming through. And I was like, wow. So I started to have all these aha moments. And everyone around me has been like super fucking ungrounded, which has made me ungrounded. And like, I'll have a day, like, my husband will like go off for the day for work or spirit work or whatever he's doing. And I will feel so good. I'll just have this wonderful day. And it's like, by the end of the day, I feel tired. And I was like, dude, I think you're bringing stuff home and we're in this small space. And I'm like, we got to get serious again about like our self-care and, taking care of ourselves. I'm like, do, 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 do. It's like, I feel like she's like this self-care, like she's like, here I come, self-care. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like, we got to get real about it. And part of why we're falling apart and why by the end of a moon cycle, especially if you're following this channel and you're going along the moon cycles like I do, that's the natural flow of energy. But if the people around you aren't going around with the natural flow of energy, you know what I mean? It's like, there's nothing you can do about that. Especially if like you're a spiritual, quote unquote, spiritual person and they're not. Drink water. 12:41 and then 44, then 45. So I don't know if those mean anything to you guys, but long story short, because I feel like to me, I feel like spirit's like moving on. There's a lot to unpack from 2022. So give yourself time. What the angels showed me in meditation was they showed me like, when you get to the end of a toothpaste or something like that, and you're folding it and you're folding it and you're folding it, you're trying to squeeze it out, 13, 11, and then 13, and then 13, 14. So that means these all mean something to you guys. I don't know what, so I'm just leaving it alone. 13, 19. I'm not going to put them on the bottom. That's for you. There's just multiple people that watch these. And it's like, if you hear the number and it calls to you, that's your message. And don't get panicky about it. You can always go back and listen. Like, take it one bite, one step at a time. You may be getting multiple lessons. You're getting to me, I feel like there are multiple downloads for some of you. If you were feeling like, oh my gosh, there's so many there. It's like, just take it easy. Take it one bite at a time. So when you're squeezing out the end of the tube, right, you're squeezing out that last bit. Well, that was a great analogy for us from spirit to show us that we are still at the end of 2022, because the Capricorn moon cycle started in December. It's ending on Friday to Saturday. The new moon in Aquarius, because Aquarius season is coming in on Friday, and then the new moon in Aquarius on my calendar, 14/14, is on Saturday. Okay, so whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But if you're watching it in real time, these next few days from Wednesday to the new moon, really adhere to these messages from spirit about the rest and restore energy. This is for what you need to focus on during this energy. And everybody's different. Some people, their rest and restore energy is actually doing something like, right? Like maybe you want to go hiking in the woods for a few days, or take some time away from work, or maybe cancel that party you didn't want to go to. Whatever it is, it's different for all of you. But all I'm hearing from Spirit is, and even when you watch this, from whenever you watch this, it doesn't matter the moon cycle, but for 2 days after that, that you found this reading because you need to fucking slow down. You need to take a break. You need to rest. You need to restore. And if people ask you for things and you don't want to do it, you just say no. My husband and I, we are like sparring like crazy lately because like we will talk about something as like a team about like our situation and what we're going through, and then like he'll like go talk to our landlord and like 2 days later and he'll do the polar opposite of what we talked about. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I just didn't, he's like, I just want to deal with him. I'm like, and I'm like, do you not understand that these are your lessons? But then also, I reacted like a fucking crazy sociopath, narcissistic, like mad person. And that's what I need to work on. I was like, wow, where is this anger coming from? Like, where is this hate coming from? Where is this like defeatist attitude coming from? And I'm like, wow, I got to work on my shit. So we're all fucking triggering each other, but it's good because it needed to happen the way it needed to happen. And speaking of, I started a new channel. It's been evolving for several months now, but I feel like it just kind of officially started, and it's called Lula's Life. And there's a link to it on my main page here at the bottom, or go up to the tabs and it's up there. I think it says like recommended, or I don't know, whatever. It's around. But I am going to be doing more of these kind of like real talk things on Lula's Life. And this channel is going to evolve into just hardcore spirit work. We're going to get busy. We're going to get real. We're going to take it to the next level this year on this channel. But I've uploaded a lot of stuff here, so I feel like it's going to like happen gradually. But if you want to if you want to lack, my family Southern drawl is coming out. If you enjoy in my entertaining videos where I'm being silly and goofy, and you like my real talks and the bitchy witch and all that, those kind of segments that I did before, you're going to find that on Lula's Life, because I'm going to separate the two, because Lula's Life is real. Because in my assumed identity, as Deepak Chopra has been using, my assumed identity is Tallulah Kelly. So that's Lula's life. That's my human stuff. That's where I'm working stuff out. That's where I'm being dramatic. That's where I'm, my poems, my singing, like all my artistry, all that. I think I'm going to start bringing more of my art on there, like videos of me making art and stuff. But I feel like the magical medium, she's just a part of me. She is me. It's me. It's part of me, of course. But, this is like my channeling circle. This is my place where we learn things. Also, I want to get a little more aggressive in a good way with working with the spirit animals. If you're so inclined, look them up. But today the gorilla came through. The gorilla's been coming through since the beginning of the year, but I felt like the other animals needed to be up front. The alligator and I forget the other ones that were our spirit animals for the year. But the gorilla came through, and I don't remember the other ones right now, so maybe that's just for that. Maybe it'll come up in the individual readings. But yeah, that stuff is, that's where I feel like all my magic and all that stuff needs to stay there. And then it's like Lula's Life's like, man, I'm just a fucking person here. Like, I'm not perfect. I can't be like everybody else. Like, I don't want to be like everybody else. I've been studying other readers on YouTube and like, working with other healers and my shamans and, on and off the internet. And, I realized that I really need to pull them apart. Also, I feel like the magical medium, like when I post things, it's like, I'm just going to post it there. I will get back to you. There was Tess, if you're here, Tess, I love you. I saw that Tess had wrote something and said something like, or I think they were like new subscriber or whatever, but I just kind of skimmed it because I saw it and I was like, oh, cool. And I was going to respond to it. And then I went back to respond to it and it was gone. And I was like, oh, bummer. I was excited to meet that person. So if you're here, Tess, welcome. And you don't have to, if you are safe here. We love you. You can always be yourself. The only time I will block people is if they're bringing negative energy. I said that on my Lula's Life. And if you're so inclined, go check it out. I actually did like an intro video called Welcome to Lula's Life. And I kind of talk about like everything I just said, but a little more in-depthly, and talked about like my situation. If you've been following our cabin story, our new home story, you may find that interesting. But honestly, even that, another setback, has taught me so much, and I've learned throat chakra so much. So I want you guys to take this rest and restore energy to really focus on what have you learned over this moon cycle? Like, what has it brought you? Speak your truth, okay? And you may be drawn to all of them, but which one, like this whole time since I've been talking, maybe you've been looking at it, maybe you haven't, but maybe go, look at it now. Which one do your eyes go to first? I would start there. And then, if you're drawn to all of them, maybe you need all of them. It's called the self-care oracle. So each one of these cards has a representation of like what it means to you. Like I said, so somebody's self-care is like being in the woods for 2 days. Camping. To another person, that's a hell. You know what I mean? The rest and restore is at a spa. To another person, rest and restore is not talking to anybody and being alone for 2 days. You know what I mean? So you can recharge your batteries. Whatever it is, that's what these are representing. And this is where spirit wants to talk to you. Okay, so I love you so much. Thank you so much for being so patient while I evolve even further on my own path of humanity here as a spirit form, a light worker in a human body. All right, you guys, here are your readings from left to right. We have reading 1, reading 2, reading 3, reading 4. And I don't believe they're going to have me do emojis or anything like that because I really truly feel like they're meant to go by your intuition. But go check it out. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Spirit said, well, yeah, you'll have stuff in the description box. So let me... So the only thing that'll be in the description box is what is meant to be in the reading, which is how for you to get to your reading. And for those of you who are new, I do links. Sometimes once in a blue moon, they have me do timestamps, but they have me do links. So go in the description box, click on the description box, and you will see reading 1 with the link, reading 2 with the link, and so on. And if they call me to do emojis or words, I promise you, I will put it there. If not, this isn't a punishment. This is a growth opportunity. I'll see you over at your reading. I love you so much. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh.